Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of MLSsoccer.com's Brazil Bound, presented by Castrol GTX. High mileage here with Andrew Wiebe. I'm Nick Firchau. No better place to film this segment right here by the pool where there is no diving. That's the rule here. But that's not necessarily the rule in the FIFA World Cup. As one of the biggest storylines on this Friday is the fallout from Brazil's win in the opener here in Sao Paulo. We were there on Thursday night. Brazil keyed by a dubious penalty call, a controversial penalty call. They end up getting a 3-1 win, and that was one of the biggest topics of conversation for the U.S. national team guys on Friday. Their last day in Sao Paulo, but the players asked. They didn't seem to have a problem with the call.
No, you better bet they were watching this game, and you better bet they were learning from that penalty call. But the message here, it's all part of the game. A win's a win. This is the World Cup, and for the U.S. national team, that's all part of the gig.
I've got no problem with the Brazilian player going down. I would encourage my own players, if they feel contact, to go down. It's the referee's job and obligation and responsibility to make sure that he gets it right.
I'm not a big fan of it. It exists in our game, no doubt, at every league around the world. Something that I think the players, the fans, the coaches, the referees would like to be out of the game. But it exists, and it's as simple as that.
I consider it to be part of the game. You're always gonna try to get an advantage no matter what you do, no matter what sport you play. You always want to win, so whatever way you can get an advantage, you do that. And whatever he did, whether he got pulled down or whether he dove, it got him the call, and ultimately got him the win.
Let's weigh in on this, because obviously this is one of the pivotal points of the conversation on Thursday night. Where do you come down on this? Do you side with the U.S. players and say, hey, this is part of the game? Or do you agree with everybody that's criticized Brazil and says that win, even though it was a win, was tainted?
Look, I do think it's a little bit unsavory the way Fred went down. It was so easy. That's a flop in my book. And for him to point at the sky, I didn't like that. But at the same time, with the amount of pressure on the Brazilian team, you do whatever you have to do to get this World Cup off to a start, and the responsibility falls on one man, and that's the referee. He made the call. That's what everyone has to live with. Of course, Croatia, not happy at all about that. On the U.S. side, Matt Besler said he learned a lesson. He's got to keep his hands off guys in the box. If you don't want that penalty called against you, you don't put yourself in the same position.
Yeah, I would completely agree. I think you got to side with the U.S. players on this one, guys that know the game and say this happens in the game all the time regardless of the league. And if you flip it and you look at that game for the U.S. against Ghana in Natal in just a few days, what if Clint Dempsey goes down in the box and the U.S. ends up winning that game because of a penalty kick? Are American fans going to criticize the team because they won the game by dubious means? I don't think so. It's the World Cup. You're going to take a win however you can get it. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. We're counting down the days for the U.S.'s first group stage game against Ghana. It's June 16th in Natal, which means this is our last report from Sao Paulo, but we'll be back with another one from the beach. Thank goodness. The beach in Natal. It's Brazil Bound, presented by Castrol GTX High Mileage. For Andrew Wiebe, I'm Nick Firchau. Keep it tuned to MLSsoccer.com.